Okay, so, I guess the most important thing to do, are we ready for a story? Okay, this is a story, and it's actually, to explain the background, when I was wee, people ask, what do you need to have a story? Well, let's explain. When I was little, I lived in a Glasgow tenement, okay? And it was very important for my development as a storyteller because we did not have a toilet in the house, alright? There was like, typical Glasgow Women kitchen. You had to kind of leave and then go down the stairs and go to the shared toilet, okay? And that was great because everybody was sharing it, so meet folks, you go to the toilet. But the thing was, when you're wee, that outside toilet was very scary, okay? I'm just going to tell you now, the kind of, the windows, there was a window in the toilet, we call it clutch. There was a broken window in the clutch there. And the wind would always come in. So the wind was going, and you're 5-year-old, you're wee willy, you're trying to pee, it's the middle of the night, the wind's going, ooh, and it was like, ooh, and there was like a big spider hanging from a thread there, the spider being kind of going like that, looking at your willy with its wee fangs, you'd be like, oh God. And the light never worked in it as well, so I used to have this kind of, it was like a lamp, like a big box with a big glaring beam, and it would make the shadows on the spider. I'm freaking myself out, getting flashbacks. The shadow of this spider going up and down the wall, the wind would be going, ooh. Your willy would be going, ooh. And it would try to be, and it was terrifying. So of course my mum and my dad, they would come down, if this was the middle of the night, and they would kind of stand outside, sing a song or whatever, and kind of relax you, okay? So because we children need to go to the toilet in the middle of the night. But sometimes my mum and dad would be away, so my granny would come and look after us, okay? My granny May Lethem. And my granny May was a wonderful, wonderful woman. I might just point it out, she was wonderful. She despised children. She passionately hated children, okay? She'd raised her own, she'd helped raise her sisters, and now, Jeannie Mac, I'm not going to, so she just did not do children, alright? So she was ever looking after us. What she would do is, she just wanted to sit in the front room and she would drink whiskey, smoke a fag, and, we'd be all in the back room, this one big bed, me and brothers and sisters, we'd be all in the one big bed, and she just wanted to leave us there, and did not want us to go bothering her to take us outside to go to the toilet. So she would tell us stories, okay? Do you know when you're wee, your mum and your daddy, they tell you a story, And the style of the story is to kind of get you all nice and relaxed, and you drift off to sleep. Well, my granny's idea was not to relax you, it was to so traumatise you and fill you with a sense of dread and existential angst and terror and fear. There was no way you were going to get out of the bed and ask to go to the toilet, okay? And I still to this day remember the very first story that implanted itself in my head. I've had lots of counselling, I couldn't get rid of it, so now I just tell it to folk and it's just my cure. So this was the story. We were all in bed one night and my granny was tucking us all in and she said, you can all be children for this one, okay? You're all about between ages 4 and 7, okay? You're all kind of cool, doing your nice little pillow. Your granny comes in, she goes, night, night, boys and girls. You'll go, night, night, granny. And then my oldest sister, she said, Granny, could you tell us a story? And my granny kind of stopped at the door. We were sticking with the whiskey and the cigarettes, and she went, you want a story? Yes, Granny, Mammy was telling us a story about an owl and a pussycat and a pea green boat. Could you tell us a story like that? And my granny looks and went, you want a story? About a pussycat? Oh, yes! Okay, I'll tell you a story. Once upon a time, she said, there was a young man and a pussycat. And there was a lovely pussycat. A lovely little cuddly pussycat. Lovely pussycat. Beautiful wee pussycat, it was lovely and it was fluffy and it was... It was the most beautiful thing. We got, Granny, that's lovely. Oh, and he'd kind of cuddle his cat. And in the morning before he went to work, he'd shave himself, he'd have his paws, and before he went to work, he'd get a little ceramic bowl, he'd fill it with cream, he'd put the cream down for the wee pussycat, and the wee pussycat would drink the cream. And then we'd go brrr, and he'd go round his legs, meow, brrr, which is the way pussycats say thank you. They're good, Granny, that's a lovely story. Thank you, go to sleep now. Not finished yet, children. Oh, is it more, Granny? Oh, yes. You see, the young man, children, was drinking in a pub. And he woke up the next day with a sore head on him. He got a bit confuddled. And then he was trying to kind of put the porridge in his ear, and he was trying to shave himself, he got confused, and he cut his chin. And then he finally got himself sorted. He got the little bowl there, he put the cream in it, he put the bowl down for the cat. But the wee cat was about to drink it when a drop of blood came from his cut cheek and went into the cream. Bing! And the wee cat came over and began to drink the cream. Meow, it said, meow. It was the loveliest cream it ever tasted. Meow, nom, 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 nom. A wee drop of human blood. And then the man bent down to pat the wee pussycat, and the wee pussycat went, ah! And jumped up and put its claws in his throat and got its teeth in there and ripped his vein out, and he suddenly fell to the ground and there was blood skishing everywhere and he was screaming, no, no, no! And the cat was all, no, 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 no! And it dug its head and there was blood everywhere and spit everywhere and finally fell down dead and twitching, ah! Oh, Granny, don't like this story. Not finished yet. The neighbours came around now, they'd heard the commotion, there'd been a murder. They saw the dead body. They saw the cat licking his neck. They thought, oh, the man's been murdered. The cat's trying to give him the kiss of life, the pale wee cat. They bent down to pick up the cat, and the cat went, ah! Ripped their throats out as well. They were screaming, no, 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 no! Ripped out their veins, blood skished down there, and they fell down dead. Not finished yet. The wee cat went out to the street. The police came to chase the cat. They cornered the killer cat. And the killer cat jumped to the post, slaughtered the police. Granny! Not finished yet. Okay, Granny. So there was vigilantes, there was police, the fire brigade, everybody was trying to catch the wee cat. And every time they cornered the wee cat would jump up and rip their throats out, Joe. Rip them out. In fact, across the whole central belt of Scotland was awash with blood. A river of blood and twitching bodies. Heat high, children! Not finished yet. They got the army in, the navy in, they surrounded the wee cat, but the wee cat managed to slaughter the army and slaughter the navy. More blood, more death everywhere. Not finished yet. So finally the Prime Minister, she said, okay, we'll get out the US Marines, because the US Marines can kick pussy anywhere. So they got in the US Marines, and the US Marines arrived, and they had a helicopter, and a tank, and they had a nuclear bomb, and they surrounded the wee killer pussycat. And finally the wee killer pussycat realised it could not defeat the US Marines. So the wee killer pussycat ran away, children! It ran away and it hid. No. Where did it hide, Granny? It hid beneath your bed. Hey, boys and girls! So this I remember as a child, this is where the story came from, and my granny would tell these stories, and they were appalling, and eventually my granny, you know, she passed on to wherever wicked grannies go. I always remember her funeral came, and the funeral and all that, and it was all very emotional. And then my brother, by this time I was kind of a young man, he was a teenager, my brother went up to his room. By this point we were in a house that had a toilet, and my brother went up to his room, and he was sleeping there, and we were all down the stairs, and I remember hearing the scream. This awful scream came from up the stairs. And we all ran up the stairs to see what was going on. And I'd like to say I saw my granny's ghost. I didn't see my granny's ghost. But what I saw was my brother sat up in the bed like, and you know like the movies and the hair goes up like this? And we're all kind of looking at him. And my mammy, who's very relaxed with these kind of things, she says, what's wrong? And my brother said, it was Granny. Granny visited us. She was at the end of the bed there. And Mammy went, oh, that's fine. She was just saying cheerio. Okay. Did you have any messages? And my brother, shaking with tears, said, yes. She said, do you want me to tell you a story? And that was my granny's very last words she spoke. She spoke after she died, but that was her very last words. Do you want a story? So I'm going to ask you again, do you want a story? Some folk have to tell us too much. Okay, I'm going to give you a wee story before we finish with some lovely music. This again is another story from my family. We may as well just go there and then what we do is we deny everything. Alright? Just pretend it didn't happen. Okay. My uncle, Jimmy, was my granny's other son. My father's one son, my uncle's other. And he worked as a railway track repairman, okay, in the 70s. This is a very important job, because railway tracks, as you know, rails are made of metal. It's very scientific. You've done bacteria early. Now we're going to do the metal thing, science. Metal in the summer expands, in the winter it shrinks, okay? Work with me. So, you have to kind of go and check the railway tracks, make sure they're not warping or anything, alright? And that was his job, he would go and do that. And in a wee gang with six men from Glasgow to go around Scotland and they'd check the railway tracks, okay? And then one time they were doing this, they encountered something truly horrific, right? And you are going to need your comfort hug person for this one, right? They encountered the huge, malevolent, white, fluffy Scotland Highland sheep. Okay. Some of you are laughing because you're dealing with fear that way, that's okay. However you deal with it is grand. And this is how it happened. They were called to the very north of Scotland, coming on to the winter. The very north of Scotland, it's a really weird landscape up there. It's not like hills or the soft greens of the kind of central belt. It's like moors, kind of really weird undulating moors. It's almost like the colour of Mars. It's a really weird landscape. And when you're in that landscape, it echoes. If you speak, it echoes off the strange hills there. It's a really weird landscape. And you get this one railway track that goes across the very north of Scotland and it connects all the wee villages there. So this was that they had to go up to check this building. So they went in the wee van, the 6 men, they got to the railway track and they were repairing it. And they looked up and you saw the sheep, okay? Millions and millions of sheep everywhere. And the thing with the sheep are all eating, you know, they're all chewing away. As they were chewing, because of the echo, there was the echo of the chewing. So they were going. And you go, ah! Ah! It was crazy, it was going in their brains, going, oh my goodness, all the sheep, this is mad. So they decided to come up with a plan. They thought, okay, we can't deal with this. The sound of the sheep is freaking us out. What we'll do is we'll wait till night comes. Because as we know, at night time, sheep vanish. It's one of those wonders of nature. Nobody knows where sheep go. They just vanish. The sheep just vanish at night time. So wait till night time comes, the sheep will vanish, we'll get out and we'll do the railway track repairing then. And that's what they did. They wait till night came on. They couried down their van, it was cold, they couried down the wee snooze. And then night came on, the stars came out. Of course, one by one, the sheep vanished. The men looked out, oh, there's no sheep, let's get to work. So they get out, and it was a beautiful sky, all those like diamonds everywhere. And you know, and they're working away the frost, there's breathing, the kind of big plumes of condensation from their mouths, and it was beautiful, glittery, it was gorgeous. And they're working away with their hammers and whatever. I don't know what you do, bang things. They're doing all that. And they're working away though. They're starting to get a sense that something is wrong. Okay? They're working away and they can feel there's something, the hair's not in the back of their necks. So they kind of turned around and they got an awful fright. For on there was a wee hill behind them, and on that hill there remained one sheep. Okay? That one sheep was still on the hill, but the sheep wasn't chewing the grass or doing whatever sheep do, Instagram or whatever. It was just standing there. And it was absolutely still. And it was staring at them with this unblinking, baleful sheep stare. And the women were like, oh my goodness, that sheep's staring at us. They're trying to turn their backs, trying to work, but they could feel the stare in the back of their head, this awful, malignant sense of evil sheep power staring at them. They're trying to work away, and of course, then the moon came, the moon rose. So the moonlight now was on the sheep, and now the sheep was kind of pulsating. Almighty pulsating of violence. Still standing there, staring at the men. Oh, listen, this is terrible, terrible, terrible. Oh my goodness. And so they thought, well, we'll get into the van again and maybe it'll go away. So go into the van, they cool it down again. But it gets colder and colder. And in the side of the van, the glass, it was so cold, the glass cracked and fell out. Oh my goodness, and the wind was coming in. Shaking and they're shivering and they turned around. And they could still see that bloody sheep on the hill. And it was staring with its great, evil, malevolent sheep eyes staring at them. And then one of the men went, hold on. That sheep's playing psychological warfare with us. What with its big furry coat, it's nice and warm, the nose be cold, it's messing with her head. And then one of the other men went, hold on. That is but a sheep. We are railway track repairmen from Glasgow. We will go and we'll sort that sheep out. We'll bring it back to the van and we will do what has to be done. And one of the other men said, oh, and I know how to catch the sheep. I've been watching all these movies from America telling you how cowboys catch buffalo. Okay? They get down their bellies and there'll be two sneaking one side, two sneaking the other side. One goes behind the buffalo, one goes in the front, and then they all jump on the buffalo. This is true, isn't it? Americans will confirm this. Yes, absolutely. Yep. Okay. That's what we'll do. We'll go and use those tactics to catch the sheep. So that's what they did. The men went out, and two went down one side, two the other side. One went up the back, one went up the front. And they kind of sneaked up. And suddenly, ha! They jumped on the sheep. Oh yeah. They absolutely did. I'm going to tell you, 10 miles away in a wee village, they heard the screams. The most awful, blood-curdling screams ever. And then the echoes of the screams, and the screams went on, and folk were going, oh my goodness, and women were hugging the children, and men were going, hair turning white, and the terrible screams, and then eventually they all kind of looked out their doors, and they all met up in the village square, and said, what's going on? Somebody said, there's men from up there, they're screaming, there's railway track repairmen, something terrible has happened. We have to send a search party. So they got together a search party. All these men and women with dogs and guns and all sorts. And they made their way up the track, 10 miles, to see what happened. And finally, they found the men. Well, first of all, they found the van. They couldn't see the men right away. They could see the van. The van was there. They couldn't see the men. And they looked to the hill. And on the hill, the sheep. The sheep was still on that hill, standing there. With his big sheep eyes. Only now the sheep was covered in blood and gore and bits of skin and flesh. And finally they found the men. Okay. Some of the men, oh my goodness, there was one man there, the leg was off and the blood was still coming out. They found his leg up a tree a couple of days later. Other men slaughtered, terrible wounds, blood everywhere. Horrific scene. Only two of the men survived, terribly wounded. Two of the men survived. One of them was my uncle. Thank goodness I would never know this story. My uncle survived, his friends survived, they couldn't get the helicopter and they took him away. Right? Now in Scotland, we have a very specific law, and it's this. If a sheep should be involved in the death of more than 3 people, there has to be a full public inquiry. This sheep had been involved in the death of 4 people and a hideous wounding of 2 more. So of course no expense was spared. They get in the whole kind of forensic CSI New York thing, examining the DNA and the blood spatter and measuring it. They got all that in there. They got in a sheepologist from New Zealand to kind of do a profile of the sheep. They got all that kind of stuff done. And then of course my uncle and his friends recovered from their wounds. We spoke to them as well. Tell us what happened. You're the witnesses that survived. Tell us. And so my uncle told the story. He was so shocked he had a drink of water first. He said, I'll tell you what happened. We jumped on the sheep. But the sheep was not a normal sheep. Oh no. The sheep was a dead sheep. It was so cold that night that the sheep had frozen to death. Staring with his eyes frozen solid. And when we jumped on it, it was so frozen solid. When we jumped on it, it was like jumping on concrete. And we got such a shock. That was the first scream. Ah! But it was so cold. And we tried to take ourselves off. It was so cold, the icy coldness of it, it stuck to your skins and our skin began to peel off like chewing gum. Ah! That was the next scream. But worse, far, far worse. Every thread of wool on the sheep was frozen as solid as razor wire. And as we tried to take ourselves off it, we saw through our own arms and legs and heads and slaughtered ourselves to death. That was the final goddamn awful bloody death screams of us all. And the reason my uncle and his friends survived, because they were the last 2 to jump on, and they were cushioned from the worst of the sheep, by their dead friends' bodies. So now, my uncle goes around Scotland and he tells people this story. And I'm going to finish tonight, before telling the story as well, he finishes with a piece of advice. And it's advice I'm going to give you tonight. If you've not learned anything else from tonight about bacteria, or how people have sex in Galway, learn this, because it will save your life. My uncle goes round, he talks to people in pubs, he talks to them in community halls, he tells them. And he always finishes with this piece of advice. And it's advice I'm going to give you now. And the advice is this. If you ever meet somebody, okay, whether it's somebody you think's really cool, or somebody you think might do your homework for you, or somebody you think might be romantic with you, whatever. If you meet somebody, okay, whoever it is, and that person says to you, let's go mess around with sheep, just say no!